Alright guys, I wanted to tell you about a few things that have changed down in the pet room. Some for good, some have been a little bad, kind of sad. The first off is Bubba's still with us. He's doing good. He's just getting a little bit of sun basking here. But if you watch some of my other videos, I want to tell you what's happened to a couple of my pets. I've had to find homes for a couple of them. Because I have been switching the food, and I could not buy crickets anymore. I was getting a lot of invasive bugs that were coming in on the crickets, and it was these kind of moths, and they were starting to just get all over the pet room and then all over the basement. So my pet room is in my basement. So I had to switch over to a better food source, but what it's called is dubia roaches, and they're down here. I'm making I have a video on how to care for dubia roaches. I think they are a better food source for your reptiles, but some reptiles just don't like to eat them. So that brings me over to this corner, and if you remember, I used to have my chameleons here. I no longer have either of them. One of them I had to find a new home for because he didn't like eating dubia roaches. I tried and could not switch him over. He was starving himself. So I had to find him a better home. I was still feeding him crickets whenever I figured out whenever I was trying to feed him dubias and he wouldn't eat them. I just kept him on some crickets. I'd go up and buy a few at a time instead of what I was doing before was buying 1,000 of them and then never able to feed all of those and have problems with that. And the sad one is Quincy passed away. He was, I'm thinking, about 5 or 6 years old. I got him whenever he was an adult from a really good guy that I've known for a couple years now. And it was a sad time, and it got me where I didn't exactly want to be done with reptiles, but I will say it put my mind in a bad place. I was upset for a long time because this happened about 3 months ago, and it was during the winter, and I get a little down in the dumps as it is when it's winter. I hate cold weather. But I don't know, when he passed away, it really hit me hard. It sucks. Yeah, he's not with us anymore. And Baby, the other tortoise, I had to find a home for. She was a little too small for Bubba, and he was starting to beat up on her. So he's a good tortoise, but when it comes to other tortoises, he's got to have a bigger female. So I'm going to try to find him a new female. But, as you just saw a second ago, I do have a new tortoise. This is Skeeter. And he's a pretty cool tortoise. He's a very picky eater. That's because my brother and I got him from a friend that he said he was able to get him to eat, and Skeeter's been eating for me now. Like, you can see his food bowl from last night. It's got probably, I don't know, 1/8 left of what I had in there, so I'm finally starting to get him to eat. You can see he's still got a lot of fruit and vegetables, and he's just filling his water bowl. But then Bubba's over here. He has just a few greens that he just couldn't get his mouth around, or he ate too much. But he's a little bit bigger than Bubba, if you can see the size difference. But they also fight because they're both males. So I'm going to be trying to get them both some females, but back to Skeeter. He was being fed sardines, and I can't remember what all my friend told me he was eating. That he wasn't feeding them the sardines, but somebody else. It was a previous owner that had no idea how to take care of these animals, that they need fruit and vegetables and protein, as in meat, every once in a while, but definitely not sardines every day. And I used to work at a store that had somebody that would feed these guys cat food, and that being dried cat food, and was feeding them Chinese food scraps because they worked in a Chinese food restaurant. So some people just have no idea. And it only takes like 10 minutes to look online, look up a food list for these pets. Like, not every food list you find on the internet is going to be perfect, but it's all on opinion. Really, nobody has an exact right way to take care of an animal. I do the best that I can. I'm open to criticism and, you know, other opinions on how to change something. I know I do the best I can. But I know there's always a better way. Eventually, I'm going to have it down to where I'm going to be trying to get care down perfect for all of my pets. But I will say, on updates, I also got rid of a lot of my smaller animals, found some new homes for them. That being, I had a Cuban anole that I found a home for because he only ate crickets. And I had a day gecko that I had to find a home for that only ate crickets. So I had to find homes for both of those guys. And I've been working and going to school, so it's really hard for me to try to switch them over. I needed to downsize a little bit for a little while. And also, Smog had to find a new home, but he's with a friend. He's at a friend's house. I got a few friends that are into reptiles, so they're not like gone for good. They could come back, or I just go see them over at a friend's house, whatever. But I actually updated my pond. My indoor pond now is a lot cleaner than what it has been. Had turtles in there and all kinds of crazy stuff, but I got a waterfall going now. It's kind of ghetto rigged, but it works, and it's a nice piece. But plans on new animals eventually. I'm wanting to get some crested geckos back in here and try to breed them again, because I can feed them a few dubias, but I'm mainly going to be feeding them the Rapashi diet. And there's another animal that's a surprise. That's going to be another big animal. And whenever I say big, I mean bigger than my Savannah monitors down here. They're fighting a little bit, but for the most part, these two get along. They, the male's on top. That's Zeus. And Athena, she's poking her head out. Athena's a little bit bigger than him, but he's got a bigger head. They got a pretty nice size enclosure. And I got some empty tanks down here. The only thing that's in this tank, I've got the Emperor scorpions on this side and the Asian forest scorpions on this side. So that's a little update for you guys. Just wanted to tell you some things that have changed and things that'll change again. And whenever it hits springtime, I'm going to start building some outdoor enclosures for the tortoises, so they can go out there every once in a while. They're not going to be out there all the time, but whenever I'm outside doing lawn work, whatever, they'll have that. I'm going to build like a stone wall and have a waterfall going and try to grow some greens and like kale and collard greens, whatever I can that'll grow that they can eat. They can even eat the dandelions and whatnot. I'm going to have a shallow pond with a waterfall going for them too. So he's swimming, but he's not swimming. Gotta clean his water out. He dirties his water so quick. Boop, 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 boop. And Bubba with his butt wiggle. If he'll do it. There you go. He does his butt wiggle. Alright guys, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Short little video, but or not really short, but not too much going on, just me telling you what all's changing. So, thanks for watching.